Hey guys, how you doing? It is me, Masood, back with another social media deep dive, and today's episode we're talking about Taco Bell. Taco Bell is a US fast food franchise. It is very, very popular. They started in 1962 and they're notoriously known for, of course, tacos. Tacos are very popular in the US. There's 5,604 Taco Bell restaurants in the United States. 5,604 Taco Bell restaurants. That's ridiculous. That's an unbelievable amount of restaurants, and it just goes to show how popular this franchise is within the US. What I'm going to be talking today about Taco Bell is how they can integrate themselves within the UK market, and how they can become an international success. Also, aside from being a success in the US, can be an international success overseas in the UK, because there is a big market and there's huge potential over here for growth. So how can Taco Bell dominate franchising in the UK? Through using social media, audience research, and content creation. Now, audience is probably the biggest pain point with any business. Audience is your backbone. Now, I say a lot because I do social media. I always say long form content is your backbone. But I would always, when you're doing anything that is business related, if you do not know your audience, then there is no point of being in business. I actually remember my first ever business, which was a clothing line that I started when I was 18 years old. And it was a barbershop inspired clothing brand, and I had t-shirts that had completely random designs. Imagine I start a brand that had influence of one thing, but then the designs on the t-shirts and the message of the t-shirts had completely different connotations and completely different origins to what the brand represented and what it was about. And then I targeted an audience that did not even like that aspect of that type of market that I was trying to set. Like, fair enough, barbershops are very popular, and I'm sure if I targeted them right, I would have made a lot of money, and I probably would have still been doing it today. But hence, because I was naive, because I was money driven in the first couple of years of my business, I always thought to myself, why don't people buy my stuff? It's because you don't use your audience to your advantage. You always need to understand what your audience like first before what you like. What you like may be totally different to what your audience like, and maybe totally different to the target market that you're trying to get into. If you like shoes, for example, and your target market loves buying Jordans, if you start selling Adidas, then you're not going to have a business. Yes, you're selling shoes. Yes, it's branded. Yes, people are into it, but it's not the exact thing that they're after when they're looking to buy a pair of trainers. You're selling Adidas, they're after Jordans. You're a banana salesman, your customers want oranges. It just doesn't make sense. So knowing your audience is key to any type of business, whether you're a car salesman, whether you're a fruit salesman, whether you are in tech, whether you are a web developer, whether you are a freelancer, whether you are a camera guy, whether you are a mechanic, anything. I'm just naming things out the blue, but it makes sense for every business to understand who the audience is and why they're targeting them, and why their business would be significant to them. Why would they choose them out of everyone else? So that's key. So when Taco Bell integrates into the UK, they should understand the UK audience. I know I said halal market, but let's cancel that for a second. With the UK audience, they need to understand. They need to understand that they need to understand, just do Brits eat tacos like that? Do we even eat tacos like that? You know, that's a major question. If you want to build a successful, reputable business and with long financial dividends, then you need to understand, does the audience or does the market that you're jumping into, but would they buy your stuff long term, as opposed to just being a hype name? Because let's be honest, Taco Bell is a hype name. It's a hype franchise that's come here, and because you see so much popularity of it in America, people who want to have or taste and experience what Taco Bell is, they don't get the opportunity. But when they do get the opportunity, it's almost like a hype train. They want to try it because it's been so hyped elsewhere that they just want to try it. And that hype dies down long term. So my thing is, whenever I go into business, whenever I do strategy, I always think to the business, how can I benefit you guys long term? And you always need to think that way. Yes, the hype train is crazy. If they started opening 50 restaurants a day, I'm sure they'll do well for the first month or like the first couple of weeks. But then they need a long term plan, the next 6 to 10 year plan on how, not in the 6 to 10 year, but after the first month, they need to have a backup plan in regards to the next 6 months, how the next 12 months, how the next 18 months are going to go for them being in a new country. So they need to first ask themselves, do Brits eat tacos like that? And if they don't, what can be a worthy replacement? Because let's be honest, I mean, Taco Bell is the name, Taco Bell is the main attraction. If they change their menu to serve something else, they may need to consider changing their name. They don't have to, but that's what their business is known for. And I'm sure if they come and reside in the UK and tacos is not the main menu item that they sell, people are going to raise eyebrows, and it could cause some disattachment to a brand that iconic. And it's happened before. So if Brits don't eat tacos like that, what can be a worthy replacement? Maybe, I mean, these are just ideas. Remember, when I do these strategy sessions, I don't tend to go real deep into them. I tend to give an overview, but this is just an idea that I've had just like literally straight off the cuff. Maybe they can do customized items or location based items. They could do for example, what I mean by that is they could do a fish taco, or they could do a fish and chips taco. It's an idea. They could do a pie, sausage and egg, sausage and bacon taco. You know, they can experiment with local dishes that are famous in the UK and customize them, and it can help maybe benefit and raise more awareness and more interest in that way. People go down the street and they're after sausage and egg and they have it in like a taco form. They'll be like, oh wow, this is different, you know, might try it out, So I think it'll be worthwhile just to experiment with that. I think a number one key factor what I've learned from customizing menus is, I remember I think it was 2013 or 2012, that when Starbucks wanted to enter China, probably the most burgeoning market of that time, and it still is, but at the time when Starbucks was trying to integrate, and a lot of businesses went to China and failed miserably because they did not understand the Chinese consumers. Chinese consumers are not the same as US or UK or European consumers. They're just not. They've got a different culture, different dialect, and different way of thinking, and you need to respect that. The reason why Starbucks coffee was so successful in China is because they understood the culture of the Chinese people. Chinese people wanted to go into coffee shops and have nice long breaks there. People religiously viewed coffee and tea drinking in China, and it was almost like a form of therapy for them. So when they entered a coffee shop, they wanted to feel as if they're at home. And that was the key thing that Starbucks did. They did extensive audience research. I think the audience research spanned to about 24 months to 36 months of audience research, just continuously testing and researching different bits of China and what ideas would work well. And ultimately, they made it a thing where you would walk into a Starbucks coffee in China and it looked so familiar with, as far as like the aesthetics, you know, those traditional Chinese buildings that you have with those extraordinary aesthetics to the roof, to the tiles, and then you would walk in and there would be bamboo leaves, bamboo trees, bamboo plants, complete harmonious change to what a Starbucks would look like in the US. and they made that for the Chinese market. So it would be so why I'm making that point is I think Taco Bell, even though the UK is significantly different to China, but the main point is maybe making customizable options that give that familiar touch to an audience can allow that initial interest to start and garner in the early stages when you're integrating into a new market. So I think that would be worthwhile to check out. We need to understand, fair enough, let's assume they've got the audience down, they want to make customizable options. Now, how are they going to get that out there? Of course, they need to use certain social media platforms to get their message out there. And the main social media platform that I personally think is a great platform for any bit of content for food, and if you're a food truck, you're a restaurant, you're a new food business coming into the food market, you should look at this and listen to this closely, is that the main social media that you should be using, in my personal opinion, is Instagram. Because with Instagram, the beauty of Instagram is that it's directly related to what food is. Food is, no pun intended, food is highly digestible. People want to see food. When people see a great plate of food or a great piece of food, their mouth begins to water. And I think with Instagram, you can recreate that same mouth-watering experience as you would see a plate of food in real life, and create that same experience online. And I think Instagram, I've seen so many businesses do it well, but I haven't seen a lot of businesses do it not so well, as far as they don't optimize Instagram to the best ability. The reason why people go viral on Instagram is because, or food businesses specifically, why food businesses go viral on Instagram is because Instagram is made for digestible bits of content. You need to have a piece of content or pieces of content, 15 to 30 pieces of content that people can just scroll through on their feed and just watch quickly and get the message, and then go to the next one and then get the message and then go to the next one and get the message. If you had a viral tutorial or process on how particular item is made from Taco Bell, then that could potentially be the snowball effect, them flicking through the phones looking at every other video, for the viral success, and ultimately help them build more long-term buzz and hype around the franchise of Taco Bell. So I think the main platform, I know the main platform that they should be targeting would be Instagram. Instagram should be the main platform that they should be targeting as far as a social media perspective is concerned. Why? Because it allows for short, digestible pieces of content. And guys, you already know my spelling is atrocious, so I already still don't care about that. So they should focus on Instagram, because why? It allows for short, digestive pieces of content that people can consume a lot of without thinking. Why is this good? Because it can drive your numbers. Drive your numbers up and create buzz long term. That's what they should do. Now, quickly, what type of content should they promote on Instagram and why? Now, like I said, they should capitalize on the mouth-watering aspect of for shareable micro content. Now, what does that mean? Maybe they had a brand new wrap, a chicken wrap, or a brand new taco that was, and they documented the process of how that tortilla was freshly made with the flour and the water and the salt, the seasoning, and it was nicely, elegantly rolled out onto a nice flour-based surface, nice, gently made into a taco shell and deep fried, and the bubbling aspect, the heat that comes up from the deep fryer, that is also documented. Once that baby just pops right out of the deep fryer, they start putting the salad, the fresh tomato, the fresh cucumber, the cilantro. They start putting in the sauces. They start making the sauces fresh. They could already shown that process of the sauces being made fresh, and they start putting that fresh sauce in that hot, crispy tortilla, and then they put the fresh grilled meat or minced meat that they've just marinated, and all the juices are running wild, and they put that right in the centerpiece. That right there is what virality looks like for food trucks or food businesses or restaurants. If you're a food business, you should always document the process of how you've made things, because people want to share food content on Instagram or on social media. People always eat with their eyes first, and they then share it with their friends to do the same. People eat with their eyes first. You need to create something that is visually pleasing on Instagram if you're a food business, to have the better chance of your business getting known, getting more customers, and building a reliable trust feed for people to come regularly to your spot, to your business. So that's what they should do. And as far as marketing, last thing before again my camera dies, marketing is that you already know what I'm gonna say: influencer marketing. And you might be thinking, Masood, you always say influencer marketing, why can't you say something different? Is because, like I said, I always say it, people buy from people they trust. And if an influencer has 100,000 followers, and out of those 100,000, 30,000 of those really consume their content, that means you have 30k potential customers waiting for you. And imagine if that's 100,000 followers for one influencer. Imagine if you targeted, I don't know, 10 influencers. That's like that, times that by 10, that equals you've got potential 1 million. You've got a potential reach of 300,000 new potential customers at your fingertips, literally at your fingertips. That's why influencer marketing is powerful, because people buy from people they trust. And if there's an influencer that has 100k followers or 50k followers or 500k followers or 20k followers, guaranteed like at least 10 or 20% of those followers religiously follow that person's content and would literally consume anything that is related to food that's mouth-watering. And if it's made right, made for that specific influencer, if you did that 10 times over for 10 different influencers or 20 different influencers or 50 different influencers, you've got such a hot bubbling pot of people that are waiting to jump on your brand, go to your locations and find your address to eat your food. They want to experience your food. They want to experience the same thing that they see on Instagram: the cheese being melted, the meat being cooked, the dough being proofed. I don't know if that's something that they want to see, dough being proofed. The deep fryer, the tortilla, the crispy tortilla. They want to hear that crunch, the same crunch that they hear on audio on Instagram. They want to hear that same crunch, that experience when they bite into that nice hard crispy taco with some juicy meat and those fresh vegetables inside that taco. You need to recreate the experience of your brand online as you want the people and your customers to see them in person. And that's my number one tip. And that, guys, is the end of this deep dive. And I am going to start making these longer because I have a lot to say. And when I do things like this, there's always multiple ideas that come in my mind to always add on, but I can't because I'm always short on time. But apart from that, guys, I appreciate you guys coming back for another daily deep dive. I want to say daily. I'm planning on doing these daily. It should be great. Thank you guys for coming back for another social media deep dive. Today has been Taco Bell and how they can blow up in the UK for franchise opportunities. All they need to do is capitalize on specific audience. They need to understand what particular social media platform they want to use, what type of content, and how they're going to get out there. They just can't keep on using TV because TV is dead. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys like, share, and subscribe, and also turn on the bell notification icon so you're notified whenever I have a new upload. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day. Peace.